Hello everybody, I'm Nick, and in this video I'm so excited because out of nowhere, JetBrains, the people who make the IDE I'm using, JetBrains Rider, dropped a bombshell. They announced and released their own AI assistant built in Rider, and it's open for everyone to use as part of Rider EAP or Early Access Preview 6, which you can go and download right now. All I've seen is this video over here that shows you how to use the thing, and this one that says that you can actually use it to generate commit messages based on what type of work you've done with it. I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I'm going into this completely blind just to see what we can do with it. Now, this is not something new. We've seen tools like this before. Obviously, we have things now built into Visual Studio with GitHub Copilot X, but JetBrains did not mention OpenAI, did not mention GPT, ChatGPT, nothing in their blog post. All they said was LLM. So I'm assuming they must be using something OpenAI based behind the scenes, because what did they just make their own thing from scratch? There's no way. So I'm very curious to see how it works, what it can do, and I guess we'll find out in this video. If you like that content and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe, and for more training, check out my courses on dometrain.com. Okay, let me show you what I have here. And the first thing I want to point out is that in any of my previous videos, Rider might be looking a bit different, and that's because I'm using the new UI now. That's why it looks like this. This is still Rider. And what I'm going to use in this video to showcase this feature is the same legacy application project, and we're going to try to refactor it and write some tests for it, hopefully, which you might have seen in my other ChatGPT or AI-based videos. Basically, we have a bunch of code that is bad, and we're going to try to get the AI chatbot to refactor it. That is basically it. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that if you want to open the AI window, all you have to do is click this AI assistant button, and then we can create a new chat. I've never used this. I've just logged in, and what I know is I can say just create a new chat, I guess. Now I'm going to move it all the way to the bottom so I can expand it if I want to over here, and then I'm going to have my code above it. So the first thing I want to do, I guess, is see if, okay, so we have contextual actions. I can say new chat using selection, explain code, suggest refactoring, or find potential problems. I'm going to start with find potential problems. So it looks like it just pastes the whole code here, and then it starts doing analysis, and it's a very sort of ChatGPT-like experience. So it starts cracking away a bunch of different things. For example, there's a typo in the parameter name. That is true. The parameter is actually named over here fir name, not first name. So this would be a problem. So it's able to identify that. Also at the bottom here, we can actually see that it is sending requests to JetBrains AI, which is, I guess, a service supporting this. So there's actually transmission of code involved, and I actually did have to accept allow us to use your code anonymously for this to be used. So there must be some transmission of data happening. This is not happening offline. It is an online thing. So type on parameter name, email validation. They say use the mail class and try to catch it using the mail address. I don't know if that's the best practice to do this, but it's not the wrong way. Then it detects dependency injection issues, so we're tightly coupled to two implementations. That could be better. We have some margin strings and numbers. That is true. And then we have business logic in the service class, and it suggests to create a separate class to have business rules and calculations such as age checks and credit checks. That is not necessarily wrong. Oh, and it actually gives us some refactoring as well without us asking. So it fixes the name. That's pretty good. It does this, which I'm not a big fan of. I would like this to be wrapped in a method, actually. Then calculation. Okay, and then further improvements. Okay, this is not bad. I guess it is basic, but it's pretty decent for how it's integrated into the IDE. What else can I say? Can I say suggested refactoring? In fact, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say new chat, and I'm going to say something like, can you refactor the code in userservice.cs? I'm sorry, I cannot directly access or modify files on your computer. Okay, I guess that might be a security thing, because previously it could refactor it already, then suggest suggestions, but we didn't really point it to the location. It used the code as it was. If I go here, you're going to see that it actually sort of pasted the whole code and then started doing things. So, okay, that is fine. Can I do something like new chat with selection? So, okay, let's say I want to have the whole thing. AI assistant, enter request. Can you refactor this using solid principles, kiss, yagni, and dry? Let's see what it will do with this. Okay, so it started right away. it starts splitting interfaces. It goes ahead and makes an iClient repository interface, which is actually what you would do to decouple that client repository directly from your class. So what I'm going to do, because sometimes in the comments they say, will this actually work? What I'm going to do is let it finish, and then I'm going to copy everything from here and paste it, because it doesn't seem like I can simply say, refactor the thing and let it do it. Now, in the end, it actually goes ahead. That's very cool. It goes ahead and it tells me individually what it did. So solid principles, separated concerns using interfaces, and exactly what it did. And then it went ahead and separated methods for things that could be repeatable. So that is not bad. What I'm going to do is actually apply what the bot suggested. Oh, here's a first mistake. So this is a static method over here, and it tried to add an interface on a static class with a static method, which obviously cannot work. I would have to make this non-static, but if I make it non-static, then it can use. Okay, so it didn't know how to deal with this. It wasn't that great in here. Okay, and this one over here in this user credit service file, yes, it will work if I just add an interface over here. The problem is it does not understand that this code is generated code, and next time I regenerate it, this change will go away. So that isn't really great. It doesn't have the full context of everything. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna give it a B based on those suggestions. It has the right idea, but it doesn't seem to understand the complete context, which I guess it's too much to expect from an AI chatbot, but ideally it should be able to detect that things like this are code generated. It's on the attribute, like you can use this as a model to detect that, hey, this is a special type of thing, and deal with it appropriately. And this is the same with things like this user data access over here. Like, why would you add an interface and then add this method, which is static, without telling me to convert it to a non-static method? Because it just says implementation of user data access. If it told me swap it from a static method to a non-static method, I'd be like, fine, okay, but it did not do that. And I know that GPT-4 would actually sort that out. So I'm assuming that this is not actually based on GPT-4. I'm wondering if this is using GPT 3.5. The last thing I want to do is see if it can actually write some tests. So write unit tests for this class in the legacy, there's no way, app.tests.unit project. It's not going to happen. It appears that you may have provided any code. What do you mean I provided no code? Huh? Okay, that is not great. And I'm going to try it again. And I'm leaving this in to show you that I'm not like, this is my experience. That's what I'm getting. Okay, it looked like I had to click in a different location. I guess fine. To unit test the user credit service, I suggest refactoring first for improved testability. And that is true. It's not really a testable method or class the way it was made. Next, in the project, add the following unit tests. Okay, so it cannot manually add anything. It will tell me go ahead and add that and then start writing tests, which I guess it's fine, but okay, I wish it could write some files for me. Okay, additional tests for test cases. Okay, I don't like this. Write the rest of the tests. I wish it gave me more. I didn't say write one unit test. I said write the unit tests. It starts with this. Okay, so it has context of the previous response. That is fine. It says keep that and then keep adding more. So that's good. And it keeps adding more scenarios. These are good scenarios for things you would actually write tests for. So I'm actually impressed with this. This is good. Now, I'm not going to paste and test all of this code, but just by scanning through it, I think this is mostly correct. And the approach is theories, facts, all that does make sense to me. Okay, and then let you know what it will cover. Fine. So that is pretty good. I'm not overly impressed because I've seen this type of thing before, but the idea of having everything here and making it very convenient for you to try things out, that I like. All right, so I'm not going to go any further because it is a preview. I don't want to judge it before the final product is out. It is good enough for a preview and it does the job, but with things from competitors, I don't know how competitive it can be. It has to do more, I think, for it to be competitive. Now, IDE on its own, in my opinion, is a better experience than Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. And of course, Visual Studio for Mac, kill this project anyway. But I'd like the AI assistant, if they're gonna go and do their own thing, to be even stronger. Something that isn't discussed in the blog is, of course, what tech this is based on. And the big thing is the licensing. Will this be included into Rider just by default? Because if it is, then it gives more value on the Rider license. But if they have to increase the price or you have to take a checkbox to also get the AI assistant, then that can be another thing that will be compared with Copilot X, which will eventually be implemented, I'm sure, because the Rider engine is the same engine as all the IntelliJ IDs. So when that is done, we're gonna get it eventually. But I wonder from you, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this whole AI chatbot thing that gets into our IDs? I really want to know. Leave a comment down below and just let me know. Well, that's all I have for you for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, keep coding.